Hey guys, welcome back to Foundation Friday. Today I'm going to be using the Jane Iredale Glow Time BB Cream. This is a BB cream, but it is also a full coverage BB cream. So if you like full coverage foundations, this could be a great option for you. Like my other Foundation Friday videos, I'm going to show two different ways of applying it and then do check-ins throughout the day. So if you want to skip ahead through this intro, you guys can. Jane Iredale is a cruelty-free brand. A lot of their stuff is vegan, and this specific foundation claims to use natural minerals to adjust to your unique skin tone to cover blemishes, minimize the appearance of pores and wrinkles, and smooth and brighten the skin. It also has SPF 25 in it, which I think is always great, and it has ingredients in it that can help control oil and minimize environmental damage. It's non-comedogenic, so it won't block your pores, and it is a cream formula. As I mentioned in the beginning, I've used this a few times, and this was actually what I was wearing in my intro for the Wonder Beauty Foundation Friday video, where I forgot to film an intro at the time. So you guys have already seen this on camera before, but if you want to see how this applies and see how it wears on my skin throughout the day, just keep watching. I'm going to start priming my face, and I'm actually going to be mixing two different things today. I'm going to mix the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer with the 100% Pure All Over Glow in Lightly Sun-Kissed. This combination has been really nice. I've been really liking it because you get the benefits of a primer and then the little bit of dewiness. And you guys know that there was a Becca primer I loved that was very, very glowy and very dewy, and I think that this creates a good alternative for that. So I just do two little pumps of primer and then just a little tiny bit of that 100% Pure shimmer. It's very, very shimmery, so I like to do this just to give my skin a little bit of extra glow. So if you guys haven't tried this primer, I do really like it. It does a really good job of creating a very smooth, even finish. And at the beginning especially, your face does look totally poreless. So I think this is a great option to try out for a budget primer. And now that my face is prepped, I'm going to go in with the foundation. So I'm going to apply it on this side of my face using a brush, and on this side using the Beauty Blender. I'm gonna start with the Beauty Blender side first, just because I feel like that's what I keep doing in these videos, so it makes sense to just go with that. So I do like that this foundation comes in a squeeze tube. I think that really helps because you can control how much product you're getting out and how much you're putting on, but also you can really get every last bit out of there too, which is super helpful. And this does have kind of a fruity smell. It kind of reminds me of like Starburst or something. If you're in the UK, Starbursts are vegan there, and you are a lucky duck because they're not vegan here in the States. Are they vegan where you live? Leave a comment and tell me. I'm going to blend that out using the Beauty Blender Pro. I just realized I forgot to tell you guys, this is the shade BB7. I am self-tanned right now. I bought this from Citrine Beauty, as I mentioned in my recent haul video. They have little photos of the foundation on there, but on the Jane Iredale website, they actually have kind of comparison photos where it shows people, and I thought that was really helpful. That is the Beauty Blender side. I'm gonna go ahead and apply to this side using the MOTD Beauty and the Base brush. This matches best when I'm freshly tanned with dark from Loving Tan, but not so much when I'm not freshly tanned. But I think I might buy this again in a slightly lighter shade. I think both sides look pretty similar. I feel like the coverage is the same on both sides. I'm not seeing any weird texture created by using the sponge versus the brush. I think they look very, very even, and they both look really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just go over my face once more with the Beauty Blender because that's typically my preferred way to apply foundation. But I really think with this formula, it doesn't matter if you're going to use a brush or a blender. I do think that anytime you use a full coverage foundation, it's good to do a final pass over with a Beauty Blender or some kind of sponge because they can help pick up excess product, and that can cause cakiness. And I know a lot of people complain about that with full coverage foundation, but it's nothing that, you can't avoid. You just have to be cautious ahead of time. And for concealer today, I'm going to be using the 100% Pure Second Skin Concealer in White Peach. This is again, I think I've used this concealer in almost all the Foundation Friday videos so far, so I wanted to stick with as much consistency as possible. I think that's really important with these videos because it helps give you a better idea of what the foundation is like, and then I know what's impacting it. I'll know if it's the setting powder or the concealer. And today I'm also going to break out my Cover FX Cream Highlighting Kit. I love their cream highlighters. As you can see, I use them all the time. I realized I haven't been using it as much on camera lately, and I wanted to get back into it because I use this all the time when I do my makeup regularly, and this kit especially, the formula pairs really nicely with this BB cream. I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade, and I'm using actually a brush from 100% Pure. I just got some brushes from them and they're really nice, so I wanted to incorporate some of them today. I'm going to apply just the matte highlight to the high points of my face. I will say too, I think these kits are helpful to have on hand for if your foundation is sometimes too light or too dark, you can use the shades in it to kind of balance that out. I'm gonna go in with the shimmery shade and apply that just a little bit on my cheekbones. I'm gonna blend that out using my Beauty Blender. And then I'm going to go in with the contour shades, and I'm using a concealer brush from Wet n Wild today. I'm gonna go with the lightest shade, I think. I should do darker. Don't think I care for this brush. It feels really flimsy, and I like a concealer brush to be very sturdy. I'm gonna blend that shade out with my Beauty Blender. I am going to bake today, and I'm going to be using the RCMA No Color powder to do that, as well as my Beauty Blender. I'm just gonna use that same one. And I'm not gonna go in with a ton of powder, but just a little bit really under my eyes and on the areas that I want to look very, very smooth. And I'm going to brush this out onto the rest of my face, and that's just how I'm going to set the other areas of my face. I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Powder Contour Kit and just deepen up my contour a little bit, and I'll be using the MOTD Supermodel Sculpt brush in that middle shade there. I'm just gonna do this with a really light hand, just to add a little more emphasis to the contoured areas. And for blush today, I'm going to be using Milani's Luminoso. I love that this is a shimmery peach blush, and I will be using another brush from MOTD. This is the Get Cheeky With It. And for highlight, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Baked Eyeshadow in Enchanted on an Eco Tools brush. I've heard that this is a dupe for Champagne Pop, but we'll see. I'm not entirely convinced that it is. And then I'm going to set everything using the Makeup Setting Mist from Pixi by Petra. Oh my gosh, kind of a strong stream versus a spray, and I always forget that. Just gonna let that dry a little bit. And I do really like that fixing mist because it works well, but I feel like it gives your skin a little bit of a glow and some extra hydration, which is really nice. And then I will check in on how my foundation looks after having all my face makeup applied. Okay, it's pretty much dry, so I'm gonna check in. It looks so smooth and so even, and it looks really nice. I can't say enough good things about this foundation. It is full coverage, and you can definitely tell that I'm wearing foundation because of that. I mean, you can with any full coverage foundation. It just looks so even and smooth on camera, in person. Like, my skin just looks really nice. So I'm really happy with this foundation. I'm going to finish up my makeup in a separate video. I'm going to be using the Silk Naturals Plenty of Peaches set, which is a dupe for the Too Faced Peach Shadow Palette. If that's out before this one, I'll link to it down below. If not, keep an eye out for it. And I'm going to check in throughout the day so you guys can see how this foundation is wearing. So I will be back in a jiffy. It's now been about 3.5, 4 hours since I first applied the foundation. I meant to do a check-in right after I finished everything else on my face, but I forgot. I did film a look on this eye look. It's using the Silk Naturals Plenty of Peaches set. So that will be up, I think, after this video, so keep an eye out for that. But but I'm gonna go ahead and look in the mirror and just give you guys an idea of how this foundation is wearing so far. Overall, I think it still looks really good. It is a little bit cakey right here, but I probably just need to blend a little better. I think that using the setting spray really helped a lot, as well as baking with the powder because it is full coverage. It's not settling into any of my pores. It's not settling into any fine lines. It's not attaching to any dry spots on my face. Overall, I feel like it's wearing very, very well. I feel like my skin still looks smooth. It still looks glowy, and all of the rest of my makeup is still totally in place. My skin doesn't feel oily at all or greasy, which is good. And here on my nose, where I frequently say that my foundation has come off, it's still there. So that's exciting. Yeah, I think it still looks really good. So I'm gonna continue to do check-ins throughout the day, probably at least one more, and hopefully it still looks the same now as it does in another few hours. So I'll see you guys in a bit. It's now been about 3 hours since my last check-in, so the foundation has been on for about 6 hours or so by now. I think from a distance on camera it looks good, but I want to look at it close up. I feel like around 5-6 hours is when you start to really see some changes in your foundation. It's kind of when it starts to take off normally. If it is going to have any issues, you definitely know by then. So this is a really good time to do a check-in. I think it still looks really good. It's still a little bit patchy right there. It's getting a little bit cakey here, but I think these are just areas where my skin is a little bit oily right now. So I think that's why. And I bet if I touched up with my setting spray and a beauty blender, it'd probably look fine. I think overall it still looks really good. I feel like my skin still looks really glowy. I'm getting a little bit of creasing right here. You can see that in the monitor. But I feel like it stands out more in the monitor than it does in person. It is wearing off a little bit on my nose, but it's not that bad. There's still product there. I can just tell that there's less product there. I'm actually going to try touching up those areas with my misting setting spray and a beauty blender. I'm just gonna spritz the setting spray onto the beauty blender and then lightly dab to see if it does help with that cakiness a little. And I'm just gonna go over those areas where it's just not looking as perfect anymore. So I feel like even that super quick touch up with the setting spray on a beauty blender worked really, really well. I'd say this is probably my current favorite foundation. I feel like it just wears really well on my skin. It gives me that coverage that I look for, and it doesn't feel heavy at all. Like, I don't feel like I have makeup on. I really, really like this foundation. So I will see you guys again soon tonight. I've now had the foundation on for about 10 and a half hours. So this is gonna be my final check-in today. And I think overall it's still looking really good. I mean, it's still having the issues here that it was, and it's clinging a little to the dry spots on my skin now, but overall it still looks really, really nice. It's not accentuating my pores, it's not settling in anywhere, and I think for 10 hours to just have a couple trivial issues is really good. Like I said, I've used this foundation twice before and I was really happy with it then, but sometimes when I sit and I film these videos and I am doing those repeated check-ins, I notice things about the foundation that I wouldn't normally notice. And so it has changed my opinion about some other foundations, but I think in this case, I'm really happy with how it looks. I definitely suggest picking this up if you're looking for a good full coverage, cruelty-free and vegan foundation. I think it would work great for all skin types. If you have oily skin, you just might have to, repowder your face during the day or blot it. But I really think it's just a very, very nice foundation. And I think it's a really great option to check out. Thanks so much for joining me for today's Foundation Friday, guys. If you've used this BB cream before, just leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on it. And if you want to keep seeing more Foundation Fridays, leave a comment and let me know, or give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys soon.